Hi, today I'd like to show you some gold coins. This is my um, spade coin. It's a guinea, so that would be 21 shillings, so it's just over the pound. 1793, so it's a bit bigger than a sovereign. A sovereign's a pound, and this is a spade guinea, so it would be just above it. Now, guineas were used often for paying professional people for some reason, because when you had a bill from something like a solicitor, accountant, those sort of things, or even a doctor in those days when you had to pay for your medicine, they would charge you in guineas rather than pounds for some reason. I'm not sure why. So this one has got the picture of George III, very similar to other coins, but it's made out of gold instead. So this one, Georgian gold guinea. And there you've got the coat of arms of Britain, still having the fleur-de-lis of France on there, so we still had pretensions of France. We got the harp of Ireland, and then we've got the Scottish and English lions. Then we got, this is a sovereign, also of George III, bit battered. His head in this Roman style with like a laureate that was very fashionable at that time. And then we've got, a lot of these have got George and the Dragon. The English ones tended to have, like the 5 shilling pieces, the crowns, they tend to have George and the Dragon, and here we also have George and the Dragon. I think it's about 1810, something like that. But it is a bit battered, so it's difficult to read it very well. So it's mainly just for the, I think it's on the bottom of this that they've got the date. So if I can just see the date there, I think it's 1820. Something like that might be in the last of the coins of George III, because he ended in 1820, I believe. So then we got to go to some foreign coins. This one, 1875. And this one is of Holland, or the Netherlands, we should say. William Koenig, William. And on the other side, we've got 10 guilders. So Holland, their money was sort of half of, because most other countries, when we had 5 francs or 5 marks, was a 50, similar to a 50. Holland always had 2.5 guilders. And again, with this sort of size gold coin, most countries had 20 francs or 20 marks or 20 pesetas. Holland had 10 guilders, so it was sort of half the number for the same value of silver. So again, it was a way of giving a very rough idea. 10 guilders would give you 20 marks or 20 francs or 20 pesetas. So there you got that. This one's a French one. So you got Napoleon III. He was, I think, the nephew of Napoleon I. Emperor. This is when he was emperor. He came in as a head of the government, a president, but then he made himself emperor. And then he was ousted in 1870 when the Prussians attacked France. France was defeated, and Napoleon was dethroned. He came and lived in England after that. So it was the end of the empire, and that was the last royalty they had in France, and ever since then they've had various republics. So 1862, I think that is, 20 francs, Empire Francais. Here we have a German one, 1888, of Prussia. The Prussians always had these fantastic beards in that period. Well, all the Germans had these, whole world had these sort of big beards in the 1880s. Seems to be the fashion. If I can see the thing on there. Again, it's Frederick, German Kaiser. There. And there you have the Deutsches Reich, because by that time Germany had been united, but high currency was still produced by the individual kingdoms or duchies or free states. So you still had Prussia producing its own coins, high level coins, and then you've got 20 marks. So again, very similar to a 20 franc or a 20 peseta coin. Here we have another French one. This one is Francais of the Republic. We've got the Republican head this side. And on the other, we have a French cockerel. Trying to see if I can get the date. I think it's 1914, something like that. With their motto, liberty, equality, and fraternity. 20 francs. So even when you had changes of government, changes of type of government from republics to royalty and whatever, the coinage tended to stay the same. Now we've got one of an early French, good old Napoleon. There he is in all his glory. And again, you've got this idea of the Roman Empire. So you put on this classical laureate, yeah, the head thing. What is that called? So it gives you this idea of Napoleon Emperor, so it was Emperor then. And on this one we've got Empire Francais, 20 francs again, 1812. So this is the time of the Napoleon at that time was going into Russia to an awful defeat, which started the end of his career. Many people going to Russia, like in the Second World War and the First World War, and they just get quagmired in because it's so vast, it's so cold. And this time, the Napoleonic period, what the Russians did, they kept on retreating. So it pulled the French. They didn't have, apart from Borodino, they stopped having major battles. They just retreated further into Russia, which exhausted the French. They wanted a quick battle, decide who's the winner, who's not. But the Russians very astutely kept on retreating into their country and burning everything. So they had this, so they gave nothing that the French could use. Here we've got one of an English one again. This one is of Victoria. She's got her veil on, so it's a later Victoria. Again, we've got the usual titles. Victoria, by the grace of God, Queen and Defender of the Faith. And again, we got the good old St. George and the Dragon. Let's see if I can get the date right here. 1880 or 95. If that helps. 1895. There we go. George and the Dragon, quite a good picture of the dragon there being slain by George, which is quite a... Now we've got one of quite a famous guy, William II. He's the guy of the First World War. Now, there's been lots of commentary about whether it was as bad as the British made him out, because he didn't start the First World War. It was Austria that started the First World War. The Kaiser thought that it would be an in and out attack on Serbia and that would be the end of it. And the Kaiser, recently I've seen that he got rid of Bismarck because the Kaiser was much more of a social, he believed in workers' rights, and so he was very much into this more socialist ideas than people like Bismarck, who were landed gentry and wanted to carry on the old tradition of the superior landed classes. Well, William II was much more innovative. He wanted to reform the world. So just shows a different side of him. German Reich again, 1910, 20 marks. So again, Germany was united by then, but each individual country or statelet produced their own higher valuation. So from about, I think, 2 or 3 marks onwards, they produced them up to 1 mark. So all the pfennigs and all the 1 marks were all produced as a united currency. The ones above that were all produced by the individual states. Prussia was the biggest one, so they produced the most. And so Prussia is the one that most people get because they're less rare. So I hope that gave you an idea of gold coins mainly in the 19th century, and this one in the 20th. I got these when gold was cheap. Nowadays it's getting more and more expensive. So hopefully the wars in the Middle East and in Ukraine and Russia will be settled amicably and peacefully, and the world will go back to normal, and gold prices will come down, because they tend to go up. Gold prices and silver prices tend to go up during times of crisis because people fear about their own currency, so they hoard their savings in precious metals. Now, I'm not going to give you any advice, but these have gone up from, I think I used to get them about £380 for something like this, and they're now up to about 450. So it does show you, and that's only in a couple of years, just shows you that these things do go up, but they might well go down again. So do not be influenced by influencers. Who knows? You just have to take your choice in these things. It is a bit of a gamble. Okay, I hope that was of some interest to you. Please give it a like if you found it interesting, and I'll come back to you again with some more interesting coins and other items. Please look at my other items on my videos. These are videos that don't age because they're all about things in the past, and so there's no time limit of how They are. And there's various things from coins, magazines, to all sorts of things, to trips. So I hope that you found this of interest. I'll see you again soon. Bye.